Going across to Minister of State IT, Rajeev Chandrasekhar, joining us live and exclusive. Rajeev Chandrasekhar, do appreciate your time. You've made a series of announcements today as far as the very serious issue of deepfakes is concerned. Before I come to them, I do want to understand from you, for the benefit of our viewers, as it stands today, is there a rule that makes platforms liable if there is deepfake on them?
Yes, there is. Since October of 2022, and even before that, in May 2021, the government has amended the IT Act, the rules under the IT Act, to make a rule which is called the Rule 31B5, which makes platforms absolutely legally liable for ensuring that no misinformation, no patently false information, which covers deepfakes, is allowed on their platform, and that it is made clear to users of their platforms that 12 types of content, which include deepfakes, are not permitted on their platform. This is the law of the land for several years. It has been known to the platforms for several years. Ever since of October 2022, both the Prime Minister and we at the government have been alerting these platforms to the threats of deepfakes, and here we are today talking to the platforms about what they should be doing to get making sure that the platforms are free from deepfakes.
What have the platforms told you? Because the biggest issue as far as deepfake is concerned is that generally the people feel that it's going to be very, very difficult both to track and to crack down upon. You had a meeting with platforms. What have they assured you?
No, look, I don't think we should accept at face value that something is difficult or something is impossible to crack down. It is for the platform to be very clear about alerting their own users and about the fact that their users cannot do these type of content, and if they do, they will be debarred from the platform. The platforms have not done it enough. Today, for example, in the meeting, it became very clear that A, the platforms agree that the current rules and law does provide for them to not allow deepfakes. B, that they have not aligned their own terms of use and contracts with the users to be sufficiently aligned with the IT rules and the 12 areas that are prohibited or that are not allowed by the platforms to carry. So they have some work to do. I think they did not do enough in the last 1 year that they should have. And today we have told them that, look, at the end of the day, the government will take a zero tolerance view towards deepfakes. We have the powers under the Act. They have the obligations under the law to make sure that platforms and users of platforms don't create deepfakes. And if they choose to do so or choose not to take action against deepfakes, then the government will do what it has to do, which is invoke Rule 7, remove the safe harbor, and facilitate the aggrieved person in filing a court case against the platform, and the platform and the aggrieved person can adjudicate that. Because please understand, deepfakes, there is a provision under even criminal law where impersonation is a criminal offense. Impersonation of another person is a criminal offense, and so therefore it is something that I made clear to the platforms today, that it is in their interest that they alert their users, they prevent their users, and they have an agreement with their users that if there is any deepfake, they remove it, and if any user indeed tries to post deepfakes, that the user will be then debarred from the platform for violating the terms of use.
You've made several announcements today. Could you explain for our viewers, if tomorrow someone was to encounter a deepfake but concerned to them, what is it that they can do and how will the ministry help them?
We will roll out in the next few days an awareness campaign, which will certainly make it clear to all users, all digital nagriks, what their rights are and what the obligations of the platforms are. First of all, anybody who's aggrieved by a deepfake can approach a platform and ask for that deepfake to be removed. If the platform persists on not doing it, we will make it very easy for the digital nagrik to reach out to the government and inform the government about this violation of law of by the platform. and we will nominate a Rule 7 officer who will then invoke Rule 7 under the rules, which will essentially make it easy for the platform to be prosecuted under criminal or civil law, as the case may be, for the violation of deepfakes and the other 11 violations under the rules. So we will make this extremely easy for those who are aggrieved by deepfakes to take these platforms to court and have the courts determine what the punishment should be for platforms who carry deepfakes. Or indeed, there is another option under the law and the rules that if the platform uses the first originator provision under the law to say this is the user who's actually done the deepfake, then the dispute will be between the aggrieved party and the person who's actually created the illegal deepfake.
I believe you've also made announcements to not just about the Rule 7 officer, but the fact that the government will be coming up with a platform where you can actually report deepfake misuse. So how
Yes.
soon will this platform come up, and will this be the interface with the ordinary individual who can then file complaints on this platform?
So Shivani, we have in the past already launched a digital, very easy to use digital platform called the Grievance Appellate Committee, which deals with all of the non-legal grievances that users and digital nagriks have. And that has been very, very effective and has in large part reduced the number of grievances that people have against the platforms. It is going to be a very similar platform, but this will be for reporting violations of the law that the platforms will be accused of by the users and the digital nagriks. It will be done very soon. It will be very similar to the GSE. It will be totally digital. There'll be no need for anybody to approach the government for this. And I've also said that if the platforms think that because it is a small user that the FIR and the process will be a tedious one, I've also made it clear to the platforms that the government will stand by the digital nagrik and help in the process of the FIR and the prosecution of this adjudication of this violation by the platform.
Rajeev Chandrasekhar, I wanted to clarify exactly this. Most consumers would not like to get into the business of filing an FIR and following a legal case. Will it be necessary for them to also file an FIR, or will a complaint on this platform be enough to take forward the case, or will both have to be done simultaneously?
Look, Shivani, I don't think it is our idea to get more and more people and more cases into the system, but and I hope platforms respond in the way they're expected to respond and comply with the expectations under the law for deepfakes. So I think, first of all, that is my fond hope, and that is what most of us believe will happen because it has happened in the past in the issue of grievances. So I hope platforms take this in the positive partnership spirit of creating a safe and trusted space for our users. In the event some platforms, if not, if there is a few platforms who continue to violate the law or violate the expectation of the law, then what we will do is we will certainly facilitate the FIR filing. Under Indian law, unless there is a complaint by a complainant, the legal process cannot start. And while we may like to be the complainant, for example, if you're the aggrieved person, Shivani, and if there is a deep fake about you, certainly the process of legal adjudication has to be initiated by you.
Right.
And I hope that, while many people may be averse to joining a legal process, I am fairly confident there'll be enough people who are determined to ensure that the platforms are safe and trusted for everybody, that there will be enough people who will come out there and file the necessary paperwork and FIR, and the government will stand by them and make it as simple and easy for them to do it.
I know you have limited time. A couple of clarifications before I let you go. One, how much time do platforms have to remove a content that has been brought to their notice before someone can then legally proceed further? And secondly, what are the punishments that either the platform, specifically the platform, or the user concerned who has spread deepfake can attract?
The punishment part of it will be determined by a court. The government today is not going to prescribe a punishment. The government can only initiate the process for a court to determine. Of course, the complainant and the government will file the complaint, but the court will have to adjudicate the guilt or innocence of the platform and or the punishment under the relevant sections of the IPC for the platform. So that is one point. On the other broader point that you mentioned, Shivani, that
How much time will the platform
yeah,
have?
the under 31B and 31D platforms have been given up to 36 hours after a violation is reported to them. And I have always argued that 36 hours is way too much. And during the consultations, it was argued that they need time. And so we conceded from their ask of 48 hours to 36 hours. I think platforms have to find a way, figure out a way technologically or otherwise to find a solution for this. And I also want to say this, Shivani, the platforms love it when we start talking about new regulations, future regulations, and talk about technology. And all of those are relevant conversations to have. But what I have very clearly stressed today to the platforms is, as much as we want a new law, as much as we believe that there is a time for a new law because the law is 22 years old today, and there are new regulations that are required, and that we need to have a conversation about technology tools, it is absolutely important to accept and wake up to the fact that there is a law today, there are obligations, legal obligations cast on them today, and that if they don't fulfill those obligations, they will be in violation of law. And certainly that is not a position that they want to find themselves in. And we certainly don't want to find themselves in that situation and have to go down the road of having to block platforms permanently from the Indian internet. So all of this has been explained in very transparent, very free-for-all conversation today. I think there is a large understanding, deeper understanding by the platforms of how we see this as an issue as that needs to be dealt with under the existing laws urgently, even as we parallelly talk about new regulations and new laws.
You know, you're going to come up with some new regulations. None other than the Prime Minister himself has raised the issue of deepfake and the concern from prominent platforms. Are you confident, forget about the intent, are you confident that tech-wise we can curb this menace? Because the technology is so wild in this section.
Yeah, I see. I must explain to you that there are two aspects to it. One is user behavior and platform conduct on one hand, and the other is the issue of tech.
Yes.
Yes, I think the sophistication of how you can do bad things with tech will always be running ahead of, and we will be playing catch up with the tools that are required to rein in the bad of tech. So this is just natural. It is a law in the near term. So that is a separate conversation. But the fact that there are laws that are aimed to deter bad behavior of users, that are aimed at ensuring platforms give themselves the responsibility of ensuring users conduct themselves responsibility and as per law, is a separate conversation.
Okay.
And it is not a conversation that is encumbered by or fettered by technology conversations on the other track. This is something platforms have very much within their capability to do.
Okay.
This is very much something that platforms can do, that when they detect deepfakes, when deepfakes are reported to them, they cause their users to either be removed from the platform for violating the law, or they cause the deepfake content to be labeled or removed from the platform. So I think there is a human behavior and the deterrent effect of law that is also to be treated as importantly as any conversation about, oh, ये बड़ा नया technology आ गया है, हम क्या करेंगे? वो तो होगा ही. We will have to do that. We will have to deal with that. But there is the matter, a small matter of law and compliance with law that is very important in a country which is a rule-driven, law-driven country like India.
Absolutely. Rajeev Chandrasekhar, thanks a lot for clarifying a lot of doubts that the public may have and for the efforts that the ministry is making and explaining those. Thanks a lot for your time.